What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the not live edition of the BurlyFishing podcast. In fact, I think we're going to change this episode up entirely because, when you're not live, whoa, what a great time to experiment. So, welcome to the BurlyFishing Nerd Hour. This is part one of two. For the next 2 weeks, we will be not live, unfortunately. Fortunately, we'll actually be at iCast right now. As of the time of you watching this video, it should currently be, I believe, the 22nd. So it's day 2 or 3 of us being in Orlando, Florida,
I'm
chumming it up.
exhausted. I really want to kill
We're
Jeff.
we're probably very tired. We are probably working really hard. We've probably sent you guys a whole lot of really cool Instagram posts that you should definitely be watching. We've probably gone live on Instagram, so hopefully that
Many
was fun.
times.
Many times, yeah. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the iCast content that we're sending your way. Also, Paul, man, your beard hairs they really show when you get
We're
this
getting
close to
zoomed.
your HD webcam.
HD webcam, you're getting the full Seth Fighter experience, and
Now we're getting an armpit. This is pretty cool. Great
hey,
intro, bud.
it's not sweaty, so there's always
It's
that.
not sweaty. That's true. All right, so we're probably having a lot of fun at iCast right now. We're partying it up. We're chumming it up. We're bumping elbows with super cool people. Maybe we'll come out of iCast
I'm
with some new
probably
friends.
bankrupt.
Paul's probably has no bank account left. It's gone, completely gone. We're probably both filing for divorce right now. We'll be getting every other weekend with the kids. Good news,
Keepers
we
are
get to
drawn.
fish. We get to fish way more now. No, not happening. Just kidding. So, all right, you guys, welcome to the Nerd Hour. Here's the deal. We're going to spend precisely 1 hour, no longer. So this is probably kind of a short podcast, but it should be a lot of fun because we're going to throw a lot of cult callbacks out there. You guys are going to reminisce. You're going to go way back with us. It's going to be enjoyable. Today we're talking about movies. We're going to hit a few different categories. We're going to bring up some of the classics, some of the things that we love. Maybe you guys agree with that. Maybe you disagree. Maybe we disagree with each other. In fact, I'm hoping we do, and I know we will. Because that's called content. So we're going to have some fun today. Thanks for hanging out with us. Even though we're not live, we will be back live very soon. So as of this podcast, we'll be back in 2 weeks. So hang tight for that. It's going to be a ton of fun. And we'll bring it back with some new guests, some new fun things, some new segments, all live, talking to you in chat. But for today, let's dive right in, Paul. What do you say? Before we do, members only live will be August 10th, y'all. So it's a Tuesday, August 10th, 8 p.m. Eastern. Same time we always go live. If you are a member, you can go into that. Also, by sometime in the next week or so, we're probably going to drop some sort of a survey, if you will, about ideas for our Snorlax crew members on YouTube for their t-shirt. That's right. If you're a Snorlax member, we're going to send you a t-shirt and you're going to help us pick some sort of saying, some sort of callback, something we do a lot on the channel that you guys either love or hate, and we don't care which. You probably love them. It's the stuff we say, the things you make fun of me for mostly, but eventually just kind of becomes like this thing we do. So we're gonna put out like 5 options. You guys vote on them. We'll pick one. We're gonna design the shirt, and then we're gonna ship it to you for free if you're on the Snorlax crew. All right, now I'm done. Let's go on.
All right, so we want to preface this by saying Jeff and I are both in our mid-30s, so right off the bat, there's gonna be like we are gonna have
a lot of 80s
movies.
and 90s coming your way.
Yeah, and early 2000s, and then we both have kids, so the amount of moving watching has fallen off a cliff in the past 5 years. So that's gonna be part of the shtick. There's no getting around it. Will Ferrell's gonna come up a lot. Okay, so deal with that.
Pretend you're in our era, right? You're growing up in the 90s. You were born in the late 80s.
Yeah, or just understand that it is what it is. We have, we
things
got a
may have
worldview.
changed since then.
Yeah, and so that's part of it. And then the other thing too is we definitely are gonna miss some stuff. We're not gonna hit everything. So anything that we missed, anything that we mischaracterized, in your opinion, just throw it in the comments. We want to hear it. I'm excited to actually stoke some fires and get people heated up and upset with me. So let's do that.
I am too.
And I want to see it in the comments. So please do that.
What I don't want to see in the comments is you forgot this, because guess what, guys? If you like this episode and you want us to do this whenever we have a hiatus from live, we'd be happy to do that. We'd love that for you every single week, no matter what, if we can or cannot go live. So maybe this becomes a new filler segment. Maybe we do one of these live. If you like it, you got to let us know in the comments. Smash a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll do another one.
And just so you know, if you're a member, Like you're getting this every month. This is like
we
50
do this
to
in our members only,
70%. This is the members only.
70%.
It's high.
I mean,
it's got to
it's
be like
kinda
high
close.
50s. Like it gets up. It's up there.
It's fishing-ish. It's talking to our members who are on the Snorlax crew. They hop on video with us and they talk to us. That's awesome. And then it's mostly just like us bashing each other and talking about stuff like this.
Yeah, we did a Q of the D that ended up being half an episode, and it was like best movie villain of all time, and it was awesome. And the people joined in. It was so much fun. So
you guys,
you're missing out on that.
The last members only live was so lit that we went like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we did.
No, I'm not kidding. Like we went 2.5 hours. I was on my computer at night from 7 to midnight, and that's like pre-show and post-show stuff with Paul and Chaz. But dude, it was so long. So if you want to join in, like it's a full-on live, and it's a ton of fun.
And then the last caveat to this is it's opinion based. Like we all know
just like
that
your opinion, man.
Yeah, like your favorite movie could be Power Rangers, circa 2009 or whatever, and you'd be wrong, but that's your opinion. So hey, dude, movies were made, okay? Movies were made.
It's your opinion, man.
It's your opinion, man, and that's from The Big Lebowski. So we're
gonna hit that one later.
We're gonna hit that later.
To tell you about my experience watching that with my wife.
Oh god, here we go. So I want to kick us off. I still have a Q of the D. The Q of the D for this one is: what is the first movie you ever watched on DVD? So not like you were in VHS land. You had stacks and stacks and like 1 inch thick by like 7 inches of just like cassettes, stacked in your little sleeves, and you had them all up there. And then movies started coming on DVD, and it was like they had like these really cheesy commercials with like a disc that like shot out and had like a vapor trail and was like.
The intro on every DVD was like the disc sleeve, and then the DVD came in. It was like, remember we're high tech, bro.
The so Dolby ridiculous. Digital sound where it was like
or THX.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Oh my god.
It was just like that, but it was a disc flying, and it was like,
let us and there was like back, you guys.
And there was like a
90s.
DVD, and they like aggressively came into the screen. They were so aggressive. So yeah,
like,
what was
those intros where like the metal like comes together? It's like that sound. It's like the intro to Iron Man, which like it was like that.
It was actually like watching what was that game where you shot the metal balls and they had the little triangle star shapes, and it was basically like a little gun, and you shot a metal like ball, and you were
like a carnival game.
They were fighting each other. No, it was like a 90s game.
Crossfire.
Crossfire, you get caught up in that. That's exactly.
How did you not think of that? Because that's like our trash fire.
That's actually pretty fair. My god,
we say it all the time.
So yeah, it was like that level of aggressiveness for DVDs. Right.
Yep.
So yeah, what was the first one that you saw?
So I misread this when I read the show notes, and I thought you were like the favorite like early DVD. I don't know what I'm saying. Sure. So I put down a different one. I had originally put down Fast and Furious, which was probably one of my most watched DVDs of all time, and one of my favorite because I just here's the deal, you guys. I'm going to explain my first video in a real quick second here. So the first DVD...
No explanation needed.
No. It is, because it's exciting, and it takes you way back. You'll understand why in a second. So the first DVD that I ended up watching was Free Willy, and I've probably seen it 4,000 times on DVD. Again, you'll understand why in a second. I want to call back the case. The original DVD cases were not as they are today. They were...
The Leaping Whale.
A card? Well, yeah, no, that's the cover. I'm talking about original DVD cases, like what you held your disc in.
Yeah,
was like a cardboard book, and it had like a front flap that just went over the cardboard.
Yeah.
It was a disaster. It was terrible. It did not protect your DVDs like they do now.
No, you're right. But, because they didn't have the little clamshell. You know what though? VHSs had one thing big time over DVDs. When they had the cardboard jacket. Yeah. There was like a space in between the cover, like they do a cutout, and they would give you like the shiny, like the card that would like change as you moved it with the light. I had one for Jurassic Park that was lit, and I had the one for Independence Day where if you did it vertically, you remember like the title was like the White House at the bottom with the Independence Day ship on top, and it would shoot the beam down and blow the White House up if you moved it. I had that one. and I had Space Jam came with a coin. It was freaking rad.
You're talking about a holographic
it was a Pog
sticker.
Yeah, it was a holographic. Yeah, it wasn't a sticker, but yes.
It was a thing. It was a holographic thing.
Well, you could like
and these were huge when we were younger. Yeah, these were huge when we were younger. So if you guys don't know what the heck we're talking about, look up like.
If you want to know why I have 2 copies of Independence Day, is because I was gonna beat my brother up if he took mine again.
You guys, we went through an era to understand this where we potentially owned cassette tapes, CDs, every MP3 player that came out before the iPod, every edition of the iPod, a Zune, like, because why not? And RIP. And then we also owned all the VHSs, those original Disney VHSs that you can think of right now, the big book white sleeve, and DVDs.
For no reason had the edges. They were so razor sharp.
Exactly.
I cut myself on Mulan like 7 times.
Right. We owned DVDs. We owned HD DVDs, which battled Blu-ray and lost hard. Then we owned Blu-rays, and now you can own 4K. Think about all the money we have spent repurchasing the same content over and over again until music was free on Spotify.
Every baby boomer who has ever been around. So
yeah, you guys get Disney Plus for like $6.99 a month, you jerks. It has every video in the same spot. I have spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on VHSs, DVDs, and Blu-rays. Okay, so just again, so you understand kind of who we are as people. That's what we've gone through. So to explain, Free Willy, I watched a million times because my dad had that Chevy Venture van that had the DVD built into it, and we used to always drive. He lived on the east side of the state, and we would drive to like Port Huron, or we go to Port Sanilac, and like we're camping on sort of that east side of Michigan, up around the Thumb, right? So just so you guys, here's Michigan. We're all over here, you guys. I had to do the thing. That's the thing that everybody expects of us. So we would watch. We only had, I think, 2 or 3 DVDs. The first one was Free Willy. Then we had Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And then we had Shiloh.
OG.
For whatever reason. Yeah, the OG Willy Wonka, obviously, because it was 2000, 2001.
So that movie,
Interview with a Vampire.
I have that DVD still, and it bangs. That movie's awesome. That movie is very underrated. It almost made the list like 3 times. It was just, it got edged out.
It's also real weird.
No. Like when they confronted making kids vampires in that movie. That was a great movie.
It's interesting.
Tom Cruise. That movie was awesome.
Yeah, Tom Cruise was an interesting character for sure.
Well,
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, and he's the bad guy that you like don't expect.
Antonio Banderas. Banderas.
Oh, dude, that movie, the kid, she's like a teenager.
Yep.
Yeah, she's the teen vamp, and they were like, don't make everyone knows the rules, and you broke the rule, like.
Yep.
Because you're like eternally dealing with your emotions
forever.
I was like, such a good movie.
So all right, so mine was Free Willy. What was yours?
Twister.
And I would have said that, but that was like my most watched VHS.
Yeah, it was right on the line. You got it on both. It was the first. It was one of the first ones that came out, I think, and it really banged. It was so good. That was a great movie. I'll never forget. Like I always like all my Twister facts. Like things like I know about like running away from a tornado, like you can just go in the ditch and it's fine. I know that. Oh, you mean you don't weigh enough to get sucked up into the tornado? We have to add weight. Dude, that movie is so good. Oh yeah.
What?
But Titanic. Yeah, that's the only one that I was thinking of.
Godfather. Yep.
Titanic, I remember.
Because it was like an hour and a half or so that you could put on a VHS.
Yeah, and it was like a 2-hour, 10-minute movie.
Well, Titanic was 3 hours.
Titanic was 3 hours?
Yeah.
God, that's brutal. It's not even the longest movie. That's brutal.
Gone with the Wind, also a 2 VHS.
Yeah, but that I think I probably have only seen that movie like 4 or 5 times.
Movie.
Maybe half of one time, and then I was like,
really?
I'm out.
I like heady movies as well as
Oklahoma was also a 2 VHS.
I never saw Oklahoma.
Never seen it.
Yeah, me either.
It's good play. So all right. So just I'm gonna skip this preamble. This is
segue.
I'm not doing this. I'm segueing straight into our first category. So we're doing it by category. And before we get through the categories, I want to say this. I did not repeat a movie. So, as an example, if you ended up in the sci-fi category and not in like the comedy, because you could have both, I put you in one or the other, not both. So like movies that were really funny but were more sci-fi,
maybe also
or
sci-fi.
I put you in one and you didn't make it into the other, so don't get upset. Only because this freaking list would get ridiculously long. I also weeded out when I did my list initially a ton of like I got to like page 2 on cult classics, and I was like, I have got to get this down to. I went all the way to letter R, and I just stopped. I was like, I've gone too far.
Yep.
So those are my caveats here. All right, so
Fair.
Best sci-fi movies. These are just like really good sci-fi movies. I'm not even gonna say best. I should have just put very good sci-fi movies.
Very good.
The first one that I thought of, and I don't know why I put it in sci-fi, but it lives there, is Jurassic Park.
The reason it's in sci-fi is because it involves cloning.
Yeah, and it's also I mean I understand
mosquitoes.
But I kind of like put it in 9 categories because there's some really funny moments, like hold on to your butts, like
Sam it's definitely Jackson. Not meant to be a comedy. I don't think anybody here is gonna think Jurassic Park. That was hilarious.
There are some really funny, clever girl. That's okay. Like there's
that wasn't meant to be funny.
I thought it was funny.
I mean, I thought it was hilarious. Freaking guy got his face bit off. Cool.
I love that movie. And now when I watch that movie, the dinosaur feels so not scary, which is kind of sad. I still think though the audio and all the sounds that they made, like they still get used in like other dinosaur movies, and like Godzilla, like that's the sound. It's the same sound as the T-Rex. Like
how? Okay, do you know how they made that sound?
No, what?
So legend says they made that sound by audio recording 2 tortoises having sex.
What?
It's audio. You just change the pitch and do a whole bunch of stuff. Yep.
I like it.
We're not monetizing podcasts.
The next one on mine, Ex Machina.
Never seen it.
Oh my!
Good. I didn't see it, or good it was good.
No, that movie's good. That movie, it's horrific. Like it's scary. I watched it as a full-grown adult and was like, yo! But it's like a heady movie, and that's kind of like a lot of the ones that I picked are like more heady movies, because like that's just kind of like I like mental thriller is like one of the top of my list. So that movie. The other thing too is like the way they sped up her character, because she's like a robot, right? But she's like learning how to be a human, and you get like very like just like with a kid where they will like learn something they're not supposed to, and you're like, whoa, pump the brakes, like let's find a way to make this like funny, and then you'll kind of forget about it. Like the machine like picks up on things like way too fast that are like super personal that like you're not supposed to pick up on, but then like doesn't forget them and like gets them internal like instantly, and like it is freaky. It's a great movie. That movie's awesome.
That is absurd.
Inception.
That is an awesome movie.
It ends
I'm
up
on board for.
It ends up on a lot of people's overrated list, which blows my mind.
Really?
It really does. If you look up like overrated movies, it ends up on a lot of people, because I think it got so much play from so many people.
Yeah.
That it was like you had to hate it. It's like it's so good you have to hate it. Like Michael Jordan, like no one should hate Michael Jordan. He should always be like the number one, right?
Too good.
But then people are like, I hate Michael Jordan. He always dunked on everybody. You're like, that's what he gets paid to do.
Yep.
But dude, that movie was incredible, especially like at the time. Just Did you just add E right here?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about D in a second.
Okay,
you had E. That's an obvious one. But so here's the thing. So Inception, first of all, so Inception blew my mind because dude, like once you realize that they're like 7 layers deep in these dreams, and then they do the scene where like the van gets knocked off the bridge, and then they're all like rolling in the scene, but the van was also in a dream, so then they like eject from there. It's so freaking nuts.
But that's
you
like
have
the
your
top
mind blown. That's pretty rad.
And that's even like the top layer. Like
Yeah.
that was like that was the surface of what you're
Exactly.
supposed to be like calculating. It took me like 6 times to watch it before I even felt like I knew what I didn't know. The movie was
Yeah, so
amazing.
that's a
Alright,
movie
my
that I
question
would like
is,
rewatch. I would
the
rewatch a
ending
few
scene,
times.
was he still in
Of
a dream?
Looper?
No, of
Of Inception? Yeah.
Was he still in a
not a
dream?
question. Absolutely.
Yeah, it
And
didn't fall.
I will always choose to believe that 1000%. My next one, and this one I've
Well,
only seen. Oh, go ahead.
Let's hit. So, are you talking about my next one? Let's go in
Looper.
order, bro.
I am.
Looper. So
Yeah.
the reason I put Looper in is because like
Did I
similar
not
to
put Looper in
Inception.
there?
No, you
No.
didn't. So
Okay.
Inception's like mind blowing. Looper, mind blowing with time travel. It's like it's crazy. Some of the scenes in there are absolutely insane. So I'll give you guys like the most crazy scene.
Do we know what? Do people even know? Like, because Looper to me is one of those movies that always gets ranked really high, but not a lot of people have seen or only saw once.
Or they've seen the TV series, which was garbage.
There's a TV series.
Oh, don't do that. So
add it to the list of things that should never have been made.
Right, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis.
Character selection was on point.
Yeah. So it's about a mob boss, like in the future, sending people back in time to be killed by loopers. They're like time traveling hitmen. So there you go.
And they get paid in like bars of gold. And
yeah,
like,
they just leave it at locations.
And I think the thing that made that movie so good was character selection. The way that they portrayed the characters was obviously fake. Like it was like obviously CGI the way they got old, but it was done in a way that was like, I accept this, that it's not perfect.
You roll with it.
But it works really well. And it was like it never got in the way of like you enjoying the fact that like they were in the past. I love that.
The ending is freaking cool. People
getting blown away. The murders were all great.
Dude, yeah, all the deaths were great. Here was the best death. The guy who in the future was being like beat up and like cut up in the past. They're like butchering this dude, and his future self starts losing the parts and healing.
Incredible.
It was
incredible.
So, who thinks of that?
I think the whole movie was actually around someone having that idea, and they were like, "We need to make the movie."
I got it. I'll build an entire story.
Yeah,
an entire universe around this thing. I got this idea. Guy in the future loses his parts.
Yeah.
Like, wow,
no, you have to make that movie.
Yep,
all right, the next one, Back to the Future. And
if you guys don't like the Back to the Future trilogy, come at me, bro.
And it's the first one,
hands down one of my favorite trilogies ever, bar none. Will not ever like anything else more.
It's just a really good movie, and I understand that if you're younger and it's like it seems like one of those. It seems like one of those old things. Like you really do need to be in the right frame of mind. So I respect the fact that it's hard to watch if you're born in the '90s and you're watching a movie that was made in the '80s and you were maybe like a teenager in 2010. I get that. It's still an awesome movie. There's no getting around it. The characters never get old.
It's
like my dad still walks around going like, "Hey, McFly!" Like
I do that too all the time.
I was born in '93, and it's still a great movie.
This is a great movie.
Exactly.
I think if you were born after like '96, then
go back, figure it out. It's definitely nostalgia for us. I mean, it came out in '85. Like, let's be real. Like, it came out well before I was born.
I was two when it came out.
You were 2 in '85.
Oh no! I was
came out in '85,
so I was 4. Yeah,
it's like you're not that.
No,
stop it.
How old was I?
Yeah, I was born in '88. You were born in '87.
So when did I even see that? I probably didn't see that until
your parents had it on VHS. That's what I had.
Oh, for sure.
So
for us, like a young teenager.
Yeah, this just fits like that nostalgia zone. Like it's one of the most nostalgic things I can watch.
But it also like they did a lot of like cool things. Like the DeLorean was really cool. Like the special effects like were actually like good, but they didn't have to be great. Like the concept of they hit all these like cool concepts of like him like meeting his mom and then be like, "Oh, what?" and like it's
almost having sex with her.
Yeah, but not realizing it. And like the whole like the drinking thing and being like no, and like you got confronted of like I'm like a little bit older now and I realize like what's happening in high school is like probably not a cool thing. It was awesome. And like the whole like nerds versus jocks is like a great like thing to see, and like bullies versus like cool kids who were just like nerds. This is fantastic. So good.
Yeah. It was story perfection.
Well, and oh god, wow. On the professor's name. What's wrong with me?
Emmett Brown.
Thank you. And Dr. Brown.
Doc Brown.
Doc Brown is one of the best characters ever.
Scott.
And the casting, you'll never beat that. It was amazing.
Yeah. Michael J. Fox was amazing.
Well, Michael J. Fox was incredible. I mean, yeah, and he was in his prime. Like, he was doing the Teen Wolf and all the other stuff. Yeah, obviously before everything happened to him, but I mean, he was just like in his absolute prime, and it just couldn't have been better.
Facts.
Next one I have, and I think this one's obvious: Terminator Judgment Day.
Yes, and when did we just talked about this?
Just
maybe
talked about this
when we were fly fishing.
Yeah, it's so obvious.
When anybody says I love Terminator, they're talking about Judgment Day.
Yeah,
like no,
the first Terminator was fine. Like, there were cool moments in it, and like the whole like him going into the bar, like it was great. It was a great
scene
movie.
That's in my brain is
this one's better. This
one's just way better.
This is just better.
I'll give you this scene if you haven't seen it for whatever reason, but the new Terminator can like morph into anything, and the scene where he's like pretending to be the stepfather, like on the phone with her, and he's like has his knife arm through the guy's carton of milk and then through his face.
Yeah.
It's like talking, and then he hangs up
in the
and
voice
pulls it out. Yeah.
That was just it was way ahead of its time for sure. Like, in the whole
amazing flick
concept department, it was incredible.
Do yourself a favor, but don't watch any other Terminator movie. You're welcome.
No, I disagree. I think other Terminators are good, but this one was just head and shoulders above it. It's not close.
They're all terrible. Don't listen.
If I specify a specific movie,
he's saying it's the best.
I'm saying that's the one, and I'm picking that one above all the other ones, better than the franchise, and it stands apart from the franchise. If I just name the franchise, it's like all the movies are very good, and any of them are up for debate. So, like, for example,
you named Jurassic Park, so you're saying they're all good, but I know that you hate.
There's one that that is such a bad movie. Also, Jurassic Park is just called Jurassic Park. So
you're just saying the first, but you have to specify if it's a franchise.
I am specifying the first one though with that one. And Jurassic Park 2 is not awful, but it's just Jurassic
Lost
Park.
World is lit. I love it. That's the second one.
Yeah, number 3 is trash. So
we'll fight on that later.
For Star Wars, you could say Star Wars, but I think you need to pick them out because there's some that I really did not like nearly as much as others. I did Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. Like, those two are way up above all of the other ones. There's nothing wrong with A New Hope. I just think those two are better than the other ones.
What do you think about like the Solo movies? So like Solo.
Oh, that was terrible. I watched Solo and it was god awful. Like, and I am now at a point in my life where like I'm okay with a movie just being entertaining.
Yep.
Like, if the movie's just entertaining, I'm like, I was entertained. I had a good time. I didn't waste $20 or however much it costs to go see a movie these days.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with that. Here's what I don't like about. Oh, we're gonna get into a black hole that it didn't even end up on this thing. But when movies are numbers like 3 through 5, right? Like, once you get past like the first couple, and the originality starts leaving, and all you're doing is harkening back to like the old jokes. Toy Story 3 onwards, I really wanted to like them. I love Toy Story 1. I love Toy Story 2. They were so good. But then as you like, people said like Toy Story 3 was like the best one ever made, and I was like, no, that movie was made 2 times before that, and there's nothing original, even a little bit, about the third one. It was just the same jokes with like different characters, and I'm like, you didn't do anything. Like, this sucks. So when you get I get it.
3 was great. 4 was not good.
I understand it, but like, for me, when if anything more than 2% of the content is reaching back to the prior movie, I don't want to watch it, and it bothers me because it's not a movie. I already watched that movie. I saw that movie. It was good, and I'm watching this one so I can get like something new. And all I'm hearing is you saying that like, yeah, 2 was great. I'm like, I know 2 was great. I saw it like 5 times,
and I'd watch it 5 more times.
Yeah, I would.
And
but
by
not
that
3.
I mean 500 more times.
Yeah,
I'll watch 3 1,000 times. I won't watch 4 again.
I'll never. And isn't there a 5th one?
Not yet. There's gonna be.
I don't want to watch it.
Dude, it's Disney. They're like,
I know.
What's up?
But Star Wars, like,
Is that cash?
That show that they made, that show, the Star Wars show that just came out, that like Mandalorian that everyone said was so great. I like choked down the first 4 episodes and was like, this sucks.
I feel like you shouldn't say that anywhere.
No, I don't care.
Paul,
I don't care.
I felt the same way for the first 4 I think for like the first 5 episodes. After that, it actually became pretty good.
I'm not saying
I'm with Chaz. I too choked down the first, I'll say 2. Then I started getting into it. But by like the 5th and through the end of the season, I was like, holy crap. That thing
maybe I didn't try hard enough. I went through 4 episodes, which is a lot for me. It's 4 hours. You know how many TV shows I've watched? That was like 20% or 30% of all the shows I've watched. And it was I'm a book person, so like when I know there's a movie that's based on the book, I'll read the book first. Like I'm a nerd. And So like when something like The Mandalorian comes out that's supposed to be, and part of it's too, it's got hyped. I saw it way late and it was hyped. And so I expected a lot. And I watched the first one. I was like, are you serious? And then I gutted it out as far as I could. And I was like, I'm done. I'm out.
The thing is, because you came after it was so hyped, were you expecting too much?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My expectations were too high. And there's another movie that was actually like that we'll probably get into in comedies, and that would be Talladega Nights. I thought Talladega Nights, like right off the bat, was going to be like unbelievably funny because like in the previews they gave away all the good parts, and I was like, yes, movies were hilarious. I watched. I was like, I saw this movie in the previews, and I watched it 10 more times, and now it's like what's way high up on my list. But it took like 2 years, honestly. All right, moving on. I had The Matrix, and it's just The Matrix.
Specifying the first one.
Yes, I'm specifying number 1.
Bonkers.
It goes way down after that. And I'm not saying that they're bad, but like 1 compared to everything else, they're not close.
The second one's alright. The third one's complete dog duty.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, it was fine, and I was entertained. But 1 is
the first one's amazing. Like all the way through the ending, you're like, this is great. And then by the third one, he's actually Superman. He flies.
Well, and he even does it in the second one. He does it like the same way.
He does a superhero landing and he ripples all the ground.
Like, apparently, what they were thinking was in the third
I'd rather watch Dragon Ball Z.
That it was a Matrix within a Matrix was what they were going for in the third one. But it didn't make sense in the context of things.
I watched them all. I didn't hate any of them. I thought it was cool that like they got the Cadillac sponsorship. That was neat. But the first one was an epic. It was an epic movie. I was in like 7th grade maybe or something, 8th grade, 9th grade, something like that when it hit, and it was like no one talked about anything else for like 6 months. It was 6 months. If you didn't know what The Matrix was, like you were a dork and you had to leave. Like it was so great.
It was fantastic.
The whole camera, the way they did the dodge when they like had the green screen room with like 30 cameras all the way around him, all doing still frame. And then they selected the frames to do the whole like follow the bullet past the most unbelievable thing. It's just unbelievable. Like great story, and then like 25 out of 10 like special effects.
They used the very first Matrix movie in one of my philosophy courses.
Should have.
Oh, really?
To talk about, I forget what it is, but then the professor legitimately said, "Do not watch the second or third."
Yeah, because he's an adult.
Because agreed.
Jeff added this one.
Because this is extremely important to me. I am a Harry Potter nerd. For sure, through and through. Speaking of like book series, that was like the first book series to movies I experienced in my life because I didn't read Tolkien. I didn't read, Lord of the Rings, like all that stuff when Lord of the Rings came out. But Harry Potter I had read, right? So as a middle schooler through high school, like read all of those books and very much cherish them. The books are way better than the movies, but the movies are pretty fantastic.
Books were also complete shit.
Chaz,
I understand
why this podcast end.
I understand why people
say anything.
I can understand why people don't like Harry Potter. I really can.
Okay.
And it's
barring
like,
the author.
Yeah, sure.
The author is kind of ridiculous.
Very polarizing human being.
Yes.
The entertainment level on the books is like sky high if you just read them and don't bring anything with you. If you bring no baggage and you just enjoy it for what it is, it's a very entertaining book. But here's I didn't see any of the movies until after the third one was already out. because I had read the books and I enjoyed the books, and I was like, I don't need to see this. Like, this is not useful. So then I just like saw them all in a tidal wave and was like, I, because the special effects on the first one were already like old at that point, because movies were getting so advanced, I was nonplussed. I don't think that they're bad. I enjoyed all of them, like I was entertained, but I enjoyed the books so much that like the movies were like fine. And here's what I don't like about watching a movie when you have read the book. Like when you read the book, you have a picture of a character that like you made all on your own based on what was in the book. Even the pronunciation of the characters' names, like they're yours. Like you did them how you were going to do them, and you were wrong, and you find out how wrong you were, and someone else's idea of like what a Patronus looks like becomes now yours, and you can't undo it. Like you can't separate yourself from like watching the movie. So that was like an issue for me for a couple of them. But if you saw those when you were a kid, or like saw them right off the bat when they came out, I could see how you could be a gigantic fan.
It's definitely nostalgia. Child, stop shaking your head. You're making me really mad.
It's okay that you don't like them. But like, there's probably 1,000 people who are like, "You guys are losers. You watch Disney." Like, I get it.
I don't care.
I know. I don't care. Do. It's fine. It's fine that you didn't like Harry Potter.
For me, Harry Potter is the extension of the universe with the films, and also I definitely don't think that way. Like, I don't think if I read a book and I get my own idea into it, and then somebody makes a movie, my original thought is always watch that movie, and it may be bad, and I don't care because it's an extension of what I've read and like latched onto in that period of time. So I'm like, I want to see how somebody visualizes this. I want to, have my cinematic adventure, my cinematic escape, and just see what it's all about. I don't care if it sucks. I mean, like video game movies are always bad.
I am not. Ready Player One. Ready Player One ticked me off.
Since you guys mentioned Lord of the Rings, the books were actually worse than the movies, in my opinion. The movies were the book was so very boring to read.
I don't know who's polarizing more people, us or you.
It's definitely Chaz. I disagree, but I understand it because there's such a cult following around Lord of the Rings.
There really is.
I am fully on board that you have a legit opinion. I don't agree with it, but I totally get it because those movies are very good. The casting was unbelievable. The special effects are great, and people were like ready for that movie. Like people were ready for all of them. And when they came out, they released them at like Christmas time every time. It was like December, and like everyone was on
Harry Potter.
Everyone was on the same. Everyone was on break, and when they saw that movie, like the theaters were jammed. So
the Hobbit book movies were crap. The book was a crap ton better.
Yeah, the yes, 100%. Everybody knows that.
And final note on Harry Potter before moving to the next movie, which I also agree with, is I'm talking about specifically Prisoner of Azkaban on because they switched directors and a whole bunch of actors. So to me, the first two are terrible. And my wife and I rewatch these every year around Christmas time. That's like our theme, our thing we do. Yeah. And the first two it depends on the mood we're in. We're like, skip 1 and 2 or watch them. And if we watch them, we just like have some mom and dad pops, and we're like,
warm up,
hilarious. You guys haven't seen like one of the recent TikTok trends is where they replay that chess scene from the first Harry Potter movie. When I make my move, and everybody reenacts it. But they're using the original audio because the audio is so bad. I mean, you're talking about kids acting. You're like, hi, you're 11. You're going to now be a very famous actor. This movie is not going to do bad.
But
you're going to look terrible.
So they stuck with the originals and it worked out. Yeah. And realistically, it was very cartoony, the first two, versus it got very real. And there was like an actual threat of death in the second one, which that's
what I'm saying.
That's what made the
first and second one were cartoons.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Like after those, like it got the threat of death became real, and
100%.
And that's what happened in the books too, though. Like the problems that they encountered in the first book compared to like the fourth book, like Deathly Hallows, like they're not even in the same galaxy.
Yeah.
So man, we could go. 100%. I could do a whole show just on that, and I'm not.
I want to get to the cult classic section though. So let's go through these.
Alien, I have.
Alien is phenomenal.
Oh, so fun, and it's an oldie. I get it. Okay.
There is no better example, especially this being like one of the first best examples for like just unparalleled dread. Like who has exemplified dread better than being stuck in a claustrophobic space. They made a game recently about it. If you guys haven't seen that, it's a horror game. It's Isolation. Thank you. So Alien Isolation. It's like playing that movie out in the best example possible. You're like just hiding from the aliens. You can't kill them.
But better than Doom because it's like real.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't get chain guns and rocket launchers and stuff like that.
You mean like chain gun rocket launchers? Yes.
Chain gun with the chainsaw.
We're gonna talk about that next week.
Yeah.
God, I hate that game.
Coming to this near you.
So the next one I have on here is probably hard for a lot of people who are younger. But it is Blade Runner, and so that movie I never saw it until I was well into my 20s, and it took me about 4 times to watch it. And actually, I was hammered the time where it was like
where you finally got through it.
It clicked, and like I understood it because I was chilled out, and I was not like I had already seen it a couple times, so it was kind of like, I expect it. I got through all the old graphics and the old like all that stuff like did not impact me. I was able to just like understand what was going on in the movie. And then right after that, I was able to watch the remake. And the crappiness of the remake actually made me love the original because like I took like my brain, like worlds collided and I got it. And now I love the original when I honestly hated it for like a long time.
Still haven't finished it. Probably never will.
Such a good movie. The next one, I had no trouble watching at any point, and I loved from the second I saw it, even though it was like way before my time. Tron.
Also never watched it.
Freaking movie is, dude. That movie is.
I've seen a ton of clips of it, but I've never watched it all the way through.
The way that they execute him going, like becoming digitized,
getting sucked into the machine.
You need to watch that movie. It's very good. The next one to me has become 10 times better than it was when I first watched it.
It's actually kind of terrifying.
The reality of it is stunning. So it's Idiocracy, and this one could have gone into cult classics. It may even be
very borderline, but yeah, Idiocracy. So you're talking Luke Wilson, but it also
not
has
Owen Wilson.
Luke Wilson. Yes. Yeah, there's no
wow. Have you seen the Star Wars clip where every time the lights they play episode 1, they play episode 1 battle scene where it's both Ewan McGregor and the older whatever his name is and Qui-Gon Jinn and also Darth Maul. So there's 4 lightsabers and 3 characters, and they're like bashing each other for like 3 minutes. And the music's there's and then all of this, but instead of all you hear is Owen Wilson saying "wow" in different "wow." So it's like wow. It is.
Do yourself a favor, go watch it.
Go look at it. It doesn't make sense. It's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, Idiocracy is terrifying. So you guys should watch. It's one of the. It should be.
So it's a comedy. It's a comedy. It's not a comedy. I take it all back. Pretend I never said that. Edit it out. It's a satire.
Satire.
It is intended to be funny, but it's horrifically funny because the irony is so deep that it could be real. So it's making fun of people. It's like someone travels into the future, right? And this person is supposed to be like your normalcy guy. This is the person who's regular and normal human being who's like grounded, normal person, travels forward through time and realizes that everyone is an idiot, is a complete moron, and like they do things
have dropped severely.
Yeah. And so everyone is so stupid, and they're doing things like they don't drink water, they only drink Gatorade. Because it's better than water. It has electrolytes, and so they feed all their crops with Gatorade, and they don't irrigate, and everyone.
They made toilets in your Lazy Boys, so you never have to get off your couch.
Yeah, but
you're making purchases on your TV because you're too lazy to go to the store.
Now,
and this came out in like 2000.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Early 2000, maybe 2006. Early 2000s.
And like all of the politicians are like famous actors or pro wrestlers. Like that's it. Which is kind of
Terry
what's happening.
Terry Crews is the president. He's like El Camacho something.
And they only like the way they make decisions is they have like death matches, like literal death matches. And like if you're bad, like you just get killed. It's honestly it's a satire. So it's just like every concept is magnified, and the irony of it was not lost on anyone in the last couple of years for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Funny and enjoyable for both. I would say
for
both
everybody.
sides of the political end.
Oh yeah.
Because like the liberals are the reason that the world is because they didn't have enough kids.
Exactly. Like you morons. Yeah,
So
it is.
the end of the world.
Everyone needs to go watch that movie. It is
Yeah.
hilarious, and it will point just like what's that little robot movie that almost made it on the cult classic list, Wall-E, where all the humans are like, you know, gigantic tubs of lard that run around on no bones and run around in these little seats and just are entertained all day, and manipulating all of them, and as long as they're happy, like the whole world has gone to crap. Like that movie is like very scary for being a comedy children's movie. In the same, what's the conspiracy
about Wall-E?
The robots?
Oh, the robots led all the people onto that ship, but then the robots all died on the planet.
There's conspiracy. I believe every single one of them. That movie is so underrated. I get that it's on the surface of a very kids movie. It's horrific. It's a satire. It's a great satire. So that was one. The next one for me could have gone on cult classics. Could have gone either way, but I put it here. A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah. So Clockwork Orange is pretty crazy. Any Stanley Kubrick stuff, by the way, you guys, is pretty insane.
It's Matrix level quality. It's Matrix level quality. All of them. So good. You can't.
Kubrick?
Yeah, you can't watch.
The book Clockwork Orange. Yeah, you're right.
You can't watch
a crazy book.
You can't watch a Clockwork Orange enough times, and I highly recommend that you read the book. Mm-hmm. Then the last one for me, I thought was pretty obvious, but Ghostbusters. On the entertainment, it's yeah. Now they're all fine, but the Ghostbusters first one was just like phenomenally, just fun in every way, and also just like entertaining. It was just so great. I thought about having that on there. I almost didn't. Good call, Jeff. So
it's there.
That was what we had for sci-fi movies. That was like my way of letting Jeff get some scary movies on there without going full horror.
That could happen later if you guys want to, because your prep question was like, what's your favorite like genre, and mine is definitely horror.
I know it is. So the next one to me is the most fun. We're gonna definitely go over an hour, so sorry about this, but we should do cult classics because I feel like this is gonna be
but this is the last section.
One. This is the last section. I'm not going any further.
Tell us. Do more another
comments. Time. Let us know. Number one, I think this is one of my favorites. These are all like my favorite. I had to limit this so much. Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko is a blast. Chaz, you put in do not watch the director's cut.
Yes.
Did they change like a bunch of the scenes?
So
or the order?
It ruins like a lot of the mystery that you get from it. Because
the best part about Donnie Darko is that you'll never get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll never get it.
The
you'll never get it.
Ruins that film.
It like explains everything.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want anything explained to me. The best part about Donnie Darko is
your interpretation.
You'll never understand it. Also, there are some of the most amazing metal songs made regarding Donnie Darko. Like I have "Cellar Doors, Donnie, Cellar Doors." I had it stuck in my head on repeat for eternity. That movie is
baby Jake Gyllenhaal, and then
in his at like some of his best. That movie's incredible.
Isn't it? What's her name? Drew Barrymore is the female lead.
But the Halloween night, that movie is just incredible.
That's why most kids were emo in high school.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
That's the emo flick.
One of my favorite movies of all time. This is a top fiver for me. Is The Burbs. If you haven't seen
I don't know how I have not seen The Burbs.
Oh,
I'm putting it on my list right now,
bro. The Burbs is okay. Let me.
We won't be friends for 48 hours, guys.
Yeah, we got 3 days until we're fun. Like this,
I need a break.
I don't want to overhype the movie because it's one of those movies.
You're gonna ruin it for me.
If you tell everyone it's the best, they'll get upset because it's gonna not meet expectations. It's one of those movies that we're gonna hit another one here 2/3 of the way down, or actually it's in comedy. You will hit another one later where. You could watch this movie time and time again, and you'll never pick up on everything that's in it. It's so jammed with comedy gold that you'll miss most of it. It's a great movie. I highly recommend you watch it. Tom Hanks.
It has a star-studded cast. Tom Hanks, Carrie Fisher.
And Carrie Fisher's like a side character. Like, go watch this movie. It's amazing.
That kind of cast. Got it.
Next one, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh my god!
I'm considering it a cult classic, but I assumed everyone saw this movie. But then I found out that like nobody I knew saw this movie. I thought like everyone I knew had seen it.
Yeah, you got Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp just going off the freaking rails.
Johnny Depp is off the rails for sure, but it's portraying Hunter S. Thompson, who was off the rails.
Off the rails.
Super cool movie, super fun to watch and rewatch, and it's one of those
cinematography at its finest. Like no special effects, leveraged perfectly. It's an amazing movie.
If you watch it on the surface like a dummy, like you don't really get it, but there's a whole lot of meat to that movie.
That's how many times you have to watch it. If you're listening, not watching 3 times, you have to watch this one 3 times. The Burbs, you have to watch 5 times. Yeah. I mean, some of these movies you just have to get. It's like Will Ferrell movies. Like until you've watched it a dozen times, like it's not the best.
Minimal viable watch times.
I've heard that.
Fear and Loathing. It's pretty good.
That's one I never read and I will never read. I don't intend.
It's another one where I just enjoyed the visual aspect.
The movie is the thing for me. It's too late. I missed the boat on the book. Sure. The next one, this one should be obvious.
Dude,
everybody
guys have to know this.
Boondock Saints. If you haven't seen Boondock Saints, and I did not say the series because there's it's just Boondock Saints, the one. That movie is like talk about breaking down like that to the third person, like breaking the barrier with the audience. Like that movie. Oh,
it was so good,
so good in every way. Written well, directed well. Willem Dafoe was a firefight.
Such an amazing actor in that movie.
Why don't you bake like a tree and get the fuck out of here?
All right, so for people who are wondering, it's before Norman Reedus became super famous with The Walking Dead. Way before.
Oh yeah.
Oh way. They're not.
You guys gotta know. Norman Reedus was already awesome.
Yeah.
And then he became way more awesome when he was in The Walking Dead.
Jeff, are you a Labyrinth fan? This is like one you're either are
Rachel
or not. Either are or not.
Labyrinth so much. I've seen it many times because Rachel's my wife. And yeah, it's like one of her favorite movies. I think it's really good. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite thing. If it's on and the girls don't like it. Like it's a little
it's
all the
scary.
Creatures.
Very
the
scary.
Jim Henson creature stuff like kind of scares kids these days.
It is scary. It always was.
We saw that stuff all the time. Watch like A Princess Bride, or The Princess Bride, whichever one it is, with like the crazy rats. Was that on our list?
So Princess Bride is
going ahead, dude. It's like
we're going to the next one. I put Labyrinth on here for other people. I don't like Labyrinth, but I fully recognize what it is, and it is a cult classic, and it's a good one.
Princess when your baby's screaming, you just go Goblin King,
dude.
Take this baby away.
If you haven't seen Princess Bride, you are shortchanging yourself. It is. It's everything an 80s movie wanted to be. It's like just like one of the other ones that's on here.
Fred Savage is the kid, right? Who's having a story told to them, which is the movie.
It's the best part. It's such a great movie. The next. No, it's not the same thing.
That's what we're talking about.
Princess Bride is like what Spaceballs wanted to be, and Spaceballs is a great movie and should have been on here. I know it's on here. Man. I just said it. Spaceballs is great. Princess Bride is what Spaceballs wanted to be. Yeah. I'm ready to be there. Like Princess Bride is like a 9 out of 10. Spaceballs is like a 7.5 out of 10. And Spaceballs is a hilarious, phenomenal Rick Moranis, great movie. Love it forever.
Side mention. Oh, 100% and flopped. So hands down, Mel Brooks movies, pretty much all of them. Mint.
I think there's another one on here.
Around that era.
It's in comedies. All right.
We'll get there, y'all.
The next one,
another episode.
This is like a whole other corner of the cult classics.
Right.
MacGruber. Bro,
I think they're making a second one.
They need to. That movie it's right up there with Hot Rod, which is also on here as like they've got their own corner on comedy, and
a lot of people don't get it though.
They don't get it,
and issue.
That's why it's called classic and it's not in comedies, because I could watch MacGruber every day for forever and be sated. I'm happy. I could watch Hot Rod 10,000 times.
Yep.
And I'd be totally fine and happy. Flaming Dr. Peppers. Like that movie. That movie is just it is so stellar. And they're predictable, but it doesn't matter because like when it happens, it's better than what you thought was gonna happen. It's just such a good. They're all good. The next one is The Warriors. This is one I've seen maybe 5 times. This one's not for me, but I know that it's for a lot of people. So this is not one of my faves, even though it is up my alley.
Very interesting flick.
It's a great movie. But it wouldn't have made the list, but I know how high it is for a lot of people. The next one is Office Space. Is that a cult classic or is that a
definitely
comedy?
a cult classic. It was just put out like, it's a movie, and
but it's one I've seen like 35 times, so I'm kind of like, to me, it's like very normal.
That's what makes cult status for me. Is like, would I watch this 10 billion times? Yes.
Yeah.
But
it's a cult classic if like only a specific corner of people, like the cult, right, is like they're diehards.
So comments.
And like
has everyone seen Office Space? Everyone? Ever?
I feel like it's, but again, like my worldview, like for me, it's in my world. So like to me, it's normal, but to a lot of people, it's probably not. But that movie, Watch Your Cornhole Buddy, is like what I used to say to my friends. It's just such a great movie.
Dude, just the smashing of the fax machine.
Face. Oh, one of my favorite scenes is when he's driving in the car and he's listening to like the gangster rap, and then he like has to turn it down when a black guy drives up, and then he turns it back up like right when he goes. Dude, that movie is
so good.
Solid gold. The next one is Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap. Turn it up to 11, baby.
Bro, yeah. I think there's people that quote that movie and don't even know what they're quoting.
It's like
that's how much of a cult. Shit Sandwich is like one of the. This is just a 2-word review, really. It's just Shit Sandwich, like that.
So it's
it's the tiny Stonehenge.
Yes, it's one of the first like mockumentaries that kind of like nailed it.
And actually, I missed one on here that really should be on here, and maybe I didn't, but I think Best in Show is on here. So next, Best in Show is a better version of Spinal Tap, and Spinal Tap is great, but Best in Show is like the premiere mockumentary that will never be.
Everybody felt like a very real person, but they were
hilarious. And it lives in your neighborhood.
That was the thing. It's like you would relate to them. You're like,
I drive a Dodge Stratus. People fear me. That movie
great flick. Definitely check it out. Star-studded cast in that one for sure. A lot of the people that you recognize in the comedy flicks later on.
Kirsten Dunst.
Yep.
The next one, I think this one's you, Jeff. You added this one. So.
Fight Club, I did add. So to me, maybe it doesn't fit cult. Maybe it's more sci-fi, but I call it a cult just because
more cult than sci-fi.
Yeah. The book is amazing, and of course, as most of the time, is better than the movie.
I did it backwards. I didn't even know.
Backwards?
I didn't even know.
The book is amazing. It's way more trippy, I would say, than even the movie is, which is what makes it better. Like
the movie's
I felt
not
more
trippy.
Lost in the book.
The movie's not you can watch the whole movie.
There's some crazy scenes in the movie.
Yeah, but you can watch the whole movie and not be tripped out by the whole idea that he made up that character.
Like third or fourth time, then you're
like you can watch the whole movie.
The flickers. Tyler Durden is in every scene, and he just like flickers in one frame.
But
if you watch for it, you're like, wait, that was there.
But they make a joke about it.
Yeah.
And when they do the whole
because it's meta
the dick thing where they make the splicing, they make a joke about it in the movie. And
then they do it in the movie. It's awesome. I just that's one of the movies I just love so much.
So for people who don't know, in case you haven't watched Fight Club, it's about a dude who's absolutely out of his mind and starts this thing called Fight Club, which is actually like a revolution. And he goes through the whole movie. The main character goes through the whole movie the entire time, thinking he's like following this character, Tyler Durden. He's following this character and like doing a thing.
Identity disorder.
And he finds out that he actually is Tyler Durden. But you could watch the whole movie. I could see how someone could watch the whole movie who's not like into movies and not even realize that it happens. Even after they like basically tell you, you still may not know that happened. I could see that.
Then you're like, no, that's not real.
Like everyone was fighting, it was cool. And by the way, Brad Pitt has a 6-pack. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. Like you can watch the whole movie, and that's all you could take out of it.
The epitome of
they make fun of bros.
Men sinking the abdominal muscle. They're like Brad Pitt.
But they're like the whole movie is making fun of like broy dudes.
High test bros.
Yeah, like they're making fun of you the whole time. Like if you don't know that, like you probably need to pick a new poster for your wall.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. This next one, my wife does not like. I found out, so I think we turned it off at the scene where
they're still married together, right?
Yeah, it's okay. We're gonna work it out.
Those little kids.
We got to the scene where he's like Superman flying when he's like tripping out, flying and stuff, and she was like
just rolling around on the carpet.
I'm out. Yeah, he's just rolling around on the carpet. She just did not get it, but it's funny. If you
it's
like,
a great movie, half comedy, half thriller. What do you even?
They don't give you a chance to be like, oh no. It's just
it defies categorization, which is why it is where it is.
It really does.
It is such a. It's drugs. It's drinking. It's
Yeah.
hilarity. True hilarity.
Yeah.
The characters are great. The dude is someone you'll never forget. It's just a great movie. We already talked about Hot Rod. This next one is one from like it's old, but it still holds up. The Crow.
And it is definitely a cult classic because Brandon Lee died in it.
Yeah, superhero.
He was one of those very rare instances where somebody was killed on camera because they used him for the whole flick. He's in the whole movie. They didn't have like CGI replacements at the time, like with Carrie Fisher and the new, Star Wars. So yeah, like that's crazy. He died filming the flick. He got shot by a blank on accident.
Yeah, it is bonkers. You really should go watch that movie. It's a superhero movie sort of, but it's kind of like, oh, this one should have been on there. But it's kind of like I was gonna say the Punisher is like stuck in my head, but that's not what I want to say. No. Who's the dude with the cape that controls him? What's wrong with me?
Controls the Punisher?
Yeah,
no one.
No. Doctor Strange would be like not who I'm talking about, but that's who you. It's the DC version of that who's evil. Spawn. It's like Spawn. Spawn should be on here. He's like that level of like anti-hero hero movie. Because Spawn is like the bad guy, but he's the good guy.
Hyper violent and hyper enjoyable.
Yeah, it's great. Everyone dies and clowns are bad. Like, but
it's a revenge story.
You should watch Spawn. That movie's phenomenal.
Yeah, Spawn is also fantastic. That might be a cult classic because that's what I'm saying.
It's on this list. I just added it mentally. It's on this list. Spawn is one you should watch with the Crow. The next one is all the Monty Python movies are good, but Monty Python the Holy Grail is the Holy Grail of Monty Python movies. It's so good. Yeah, I get it.
The heck out of that movie as a kid. I reenacted that movie with friends all the time.
Oh, for sure. Hilarious. Like 100%. Yeah. When he's getting like cut up,
no arms or legs.
One leg, you want back?
Go on then.
Go on then. Yeah, that movie is unbelievably good. It's a little bunny. That movie is so good.
The Holy Hand Grenade. I mean,
the Holy Hand Grenade, dude. That movie. That movie is the gift that keeps on giving. The next one we talked about, Ferris. Oh, we didn't. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off is
it a cult classic? That's another one in The Office where I just assume everyone's seen it 100 times.
I feel like it's one that didn't do like amazingly well, but eventually like the video sales went through the roof and it did really well later on.
It was so
that's
good.
Like a cult classic.
Oh yeah. Like
the race scene when he's jumping the fences and sliding over the cars and stuff, and he makes it back in time. You guys know.
Golly, that movie.
The Ferrari flying out the back window.
Well, no, them trying to. We'll just run it in reverse. It takes the miles off. That movie is so good. It's Princess Bride. We talked about Napoleon Dynamite.
Come on now, guys.
Is it a cult classic or is that
for sure?
Okay, so when Napoleon Dynamite got released, it wasn't like a national release. When it came out in theaters, it was in select theaters, my brother had somehow heard about it or seen it and was obsessed. And he made us go to select theater reviews where the tickets were like $3 or $5, and it was like at Birmingham 8, and it was at like AMC 20 in Jackson, like just random spots. And we'd have to drive to these random places and go watch it because my brother had like the Vote for Pedro shirt before the movie was even like public, and so he was obsessed. We all became obsessed, and it was just
so quotable, so enjoyable, so goofy. I just love it.
Just phenomenal movie. Best in Show. We talked about Pulp Fiction.
Come on,
is it cult classic?
Tarantino stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Original Tarantino stuff. No, original Tarantino stuff is once you hit like Kill Bill, you get out of that realm and he starts just crushing it and everybody knows him. But like Pulp Fiction came out, he wasn't like a known person.
No.
Or do you remember what was the Antonio Banderas one where he's like the oh my gosh. What was it? He was in like he had 3 dudes that were guitars. I can't remember the name of this flick, but it's a revenge story and I can't think of it. I'm gonna die. There is the internet. Are you looking?
I know. I'm going through it. So he's for people who don't know, he's Kill Bill, Inglourious Bastards, Django, Hateful Eight, Death Proof. He is Inglorious
Desperado.
Bastards.
Thank you.
Jackie
See?
Brown. He's also Natural Born Killers, which I actually didn't know. Hostel. I did not know that he was Sin City, which I should have known. Wait, is this right? He did the.
No,
this
that's
can't
not
be
right.
This can't be right. We're getting weird because I'm like, this can't be right. I see The Rock
so anyways,
on here.
Like one of the first ones he did was Desperado, which was like
yeah.
something's blowing up upstairs for me.
Breakfast Club for sure, 100%. St. Elmo's Fire? I don't think I've ever seen it. It's not making the list for me. I could give you Breakfast Club. The only reason I won't is because I don't think it's a cult classic. I just think it's like a good 80s movie. Like everyone saw it. Like it's like 16 Candles. Yeah. Like yes, like I could see how that could make your list, but it's just a good movie. I don't but that's why I was like trying to be like get movies that were like true cult classics. I tried my best, and that's why I ask on some of them. Like if someone was on here in the comments and was like, Ferris Bueller's Day Off's not a cult classic, it's too public, I'd be like, touche, but it still rocks. The last one, as many
on the wall as we can. We'll see what sticks.
The last one, well, the exact opposite. I'll try not throw too many on there. Hopefully, I got them all right. Fantastic Mr. Fox is my last one.
I have never seen this.
Bro, you are what?
I've never even heard of it.
Oh my god!
What? And now I won't see it just to make you mad.
Well, I mean, you can shortchange yourself all you want. That's totally.
What am I missing exactly?
So it's George Clooney is a fox. George Clooney is a fox, and he's doing his best, like his version. Remember when he was in Oh Brother Where Art Thou? And that was like his brand of comedy. Like that's George Clooney's brand of comedy. He's in that brand, like in that vein of being funny. His mode of speech is really fast, and there's all these other animal characters, and the way they do it, like live animation, or not animation, like claymation live animation style. And he is like this, he's like obsessed with like, fox things, like stealing animals, but there's like these big corporations where he like wants to go like steal things from, and there's like a lot of larger themes in the background. And there's levels of comedy that are truly hilarious. There's gigantic themes that are like hidden in the background that you really have to think about. And there's also just unbelievably hilarious moments that are all attributable to like George Clooney's like Oh Brother Where Art Thou type of comedy that like can't be replicated. It is
interesting,
very, very good. And if you enjoy eating fun candy, you should watch that movie and have some fun candy, and you will have an unbelievably good time. Whoever, anyone.
Fun candy is fun. All right. So I think that wraps probably what we're gonna do for this episode.
Our other options that the rabbit holes
you guys could have for
best
future episodes.
Superhero movies, comedies, horror movies. We could do the last 3 segments. So we did overrated was one of the ones I wanted to do, like overrated movies. I trimmed this down to almost nothing.
Yep.
And I'm trying not to be dramatic. I don't want to be dramatic with these. That was like my intent. And these are just movies I just don't understand. And I don't know why they got rated the way that they did. The first one for me is Sweeney Todd.
I thought it was good.
I hated every second of it. I don't understand why anyone liked it, and I can't connect with it on any level.
It's a horror musical. There are way better ones, but it's not bad.
But it gets rated so high. Like everyone is like, it's, I think
it got
like,
rated
it was
that
so
high.
Great. Dude, it was.
I feel like we need to do more research on this list, sir, because I feel like I have a lot to contribute to an overrated.
I'm ready.
What say we put a pin in this thing, and we bring it back for a later episode?
I'm ready. That's what we had. Action movies didn't even make the list. Thrillers didn't even make the list.
Oof.
Like there's a lot of movies I didn't even. We got a long stretch. So
A River Runs Through It is not on this list for whatever reason.
I can tell you why Avatar is overrated. Because
we'll talk about.
How do they even know that that's on the list? How would they know?
Yeah.
So
how are they gonna know?
So if you guys enjoyed this, please let us know in the comments if there was anything we left off or got wrong. Please let us know. We are more than happy to let you know that I did this in 3 hours last night, and I stopped at 1 a.m. So I easily could have missed this. And let us know if you enjoyed it. We would love to do more, but only if you enjoy them.
Facts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. It is a breakaway from our normal segment. However, we will be back with another breakaway from a normal segment next week. So, you guys don't really get a say in this because we pre-recorded these episodes. So you're welcome and or sorry. And next week we're going to cover video games. So stay tuned.
You already know we're not going to cover that whole topic. We're going to scratch the surface.
We're going to scratch the surface. Fair. So again, if you guys want something like this, whenever we can't go live, we can always pre-record an episode. If there's other topics you'd rather us cover, we can definitely do that too. But it's episode 73, and we were like, let's break away from the norm for a second, and maybe, it'll work. Maybe it doesn't. So you guys let us know in the comments what you think. Smash that like, and we'll be back next week with another one. So be sure to subscribe and set on your notifications and all that cool stuff. And also make sure you're following us at iCast because we're having a blast, and we're probably giving you tons of other cool content.
And I'm super sleepy.
We're so tired, but you're probably getting other amazing fishing content. So maybe you're sick of fishing content. That's why we did this episode. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. You're awesome. We love you. We miss you already. And we'll be back hopefully very soon with a live. Chas, take us out.